So feel super blessed this year to have finished a solid year with the team. Uh, Gone through so many different amazing challenges, obstacles, things to overcome, which makes it fun. Legit, it keeps us relevant, right? Keeps things moving forward. But it's such an amazing team, and the last week and a half, we've had a lot of time to be able to reflect on that and just appreciative of what they do out there. Um, the five star reviews just don't quite do it justice sometimes with some of the things that the property managers or leasing or whoever it might be here in the office, and what they experience and how they overcome obstacles, challenges, and really just set the right expectations. I think property management, as you're aware, is really just navigating those expectations and setting the tone for what's to come. Right? I don't like surprises. My wife will tell you, like I'm much better if I know what's happening, because I have that element of control, that element of I don't want those surprises to derail where my head is. Now, oftentimes as a property owner, business owner, I'm thinking of these are the things that can go wrong. And I do that a lot. I do that as a way to get ahead of things. And if you've talked to me, if I was the person that originally had connected with you, you know that the thing I probably told you was you're never going to hear good news from us, as excuse me, as well as, I set these expectations of what's the worst that's going to happen, what's the worst that can happen. And I do look at things like that sometimes, because it sets the expectation of is my risk meter there? Can I assume that risk if the worst were to happen, instead of the opposite, where I'd be left standing with nothing, because I didn't think through it hard enough to decide, yes, I would not be in a position to assume that risk, and not move forward. But again, this team's amazing. I love them. And if you haven't shouted to your property manager lately, or spoken to that person, definitely reach out, because they're probably thinking about you too. So three things that I wanted to talk about this week, and I read this article recently, and it was talking about mistakes of what's happening in this market right now, and that owners make in this market. And I thought I'd touch on them briefly and just give my 2 cents, because I thought that there were a couple things on here that I didn't think were 100% accurate based on what's happening in Arizona. But let's see what your thoughts. The first one was overreacting. The mistake number one is overreacting to the market. And in how it shows that they showed up here was they were talking about owners slashing rents too fast. And I think it's just the opposite. This year we saw owners not slash rents fast enough, and think that pricing was similar to a year past or 2 years past, and get just bamboozled by the market, because then it sat on the market. And earlier this year I brought up, hey, if you change your price, if you recognize that your price is high within the first 8 days of your listing online with us, your chances of renting it within 30 days was astronomically higher than if you hadn't. And it's that key number, the 8 days, was what the team figured out here, and it is good for us to know. So again, I don't think we slashed rents fast enough this year. I think we could do more if we see that happening again next year. Let's see, owners selling because rates are high. I do think that that's a thing. I think that rates are high ties into appreciation, ties into the cost of someone purchasing these properties as investments, which no longer makes as much sense as it did 3 years ago. And I think there's some truth to that, because we are seeing owners reevaluate what their options are. I think it's a good time to be doing it every year, especially around this time, and going, hey, is this property a property that I need in my portfolio, or is it something that's serving me like I hoped, or that I want or expect it to? Let's see, chasing last year's prices instead of today's reality. That's a big one. Pricing, and this isn't just this is across the board. When you look at the prices of what happens and properties on market, when we hit May of this year, you saw a large amount of properties come off the market for sale, and that was because you had all these potential sellers trying to just get their price, that make me move price, right? And because that didn't happen, then we saw a lot of properties that came off the market right around the end of May. And it was, coincidentally, it coincides with when people are kind of, the heat picks up and people are tending to leave, Phoenix for the summer. So again, I think that is something that is very real, chasing last year's prices. But I think going into this next year, we're in a much different place. And I think that now most owners recognize that we did not see substantial appreciation this year, but depreciation year over year for most price points. And really, every price point up to 800,000 is pretty much seeing depreciation this year. So depending on what the rates do and depending on what buyers do next year, will be telling and will be very interesting to see. So fingers crossed. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. I hope that you are smiling right now and that you are going to experience some holiday cheer and fun with those that you love. We appreciate you. From the bottom of my heart, like Capstone wouldn't be what it is without you, the person watching this video, who ultimately trusts in us to at least watch these videos, right? But we appreciate you, and I hope at the end of the day, look forward to seeing you next year. Take care.